every single time.
Did you know that love inspires the greatest art of our time? Take this man, for example, the greatest artist of all time, Meatloaf. Musician, actor, sex symbol, a god among us. But how did he get his name? Let's journey back to that fateful day in the 1970s when Michael Day became Meatloaf.
I'm not gonna do a duet album called Stony and Michael, so you better think of something quick.
But Stony, I don't have any other names to call myself.
Well, you gotta come up with something quick. And you need something that is delicious and scrumptious and satisfying in the next 24 hours.
But Stony, let me sleep on it.
There you go. One big old meatloaf hot from the kitchen.
Excuse me, I didn't order.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Hi, it's nice to meet you too.
Why do you look so down, my boy?
Why do I look so down? 'Cause I need a new name in 24 hours or I'll never make it in this entertainment biz.
You need to relax. Let us date now.
You want to go out with me?
Yeah, sure, whatever. Yes, delicious marijuana. Yes. Nice. Yes, put me down on the pillow. Where are you going?
Was that good?
Satisfactory, my good man.
Far out.
Dearest Michael, my job as your muse is complete. I hope the intertwining of our souls has given you enlightenment and a full stomach.
And just like that, she was
Gone?
gone.
What a beautiful meet cute. Just
And now I want my artist name to be after hers.
what was this angel's name?
Don't know. I didn't ask. But she was a beautiful meatloaf.
Wait, what?
He fucked food, lady.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hi.
And
Welcome back to another week of PopCorn Spookin Live. I forgot what the new title was called. PopCorn Spookin Live, your weekly guide to movies and TV and streaming watching. There's too much spooky content in the world, and you can't be wasting your time. So let me waste my time for you by watching all that is slightly scary, whilst letting you know what's spookin' and what ain't. And that little sketch that you guys saw there is part of the 2023 to 2024 crew of the Planet Ant Film Farm Team that you can check out on Planet Ant's Film Farm Team's YouTube page. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. That was the one that I wrote and directed. That was our last one we did together. I don't think we're doing a premiere, so I'm probably just going to start sharing the video. I don't know. But it was super fun, and I had a super fun time with them. This week, other Planet Ant shenanigans that are amongst us is the October Watch Party, which is on this Saturday at 8 p.m., where we'll be doing a costume contest and watching 2 stories from TV's Creep Show, which is on AMC Plus right now. We'll be watching 2 stories. I know what one story is. I haven't chosen the other story, but we'll be watching it. We'll also be having guest panelists. I will be hosting alongside, who's in the booth? We got Man, John Dewar. Bryce the Huff will be missing because he was murdered. We'll be solving that murder as well. We'll also have Julia LaBeast LaBest Labrel and also Jimmy fucking Murray as well. There'll be prizes, there'll be free snacks, there'll be free pop. You can grab a drink from the Ghost Light bar from across the street, grab it to go, bring it back over. There'll be an intermission where you can smoke some ganja in the back, and then you can come back for some fun. But yeah, it's all for free. So if you want more information, hit me up or comment, or, you know, just show up. It's at the Planet Ant Black Box Theater in Hamtramck this Saturday, 8 p.m. I'm hosting. It'll be fun, I promise. Bring a costume. You'll get a prize for whoever has the best one. It's all for free. So come support your boy. What came out this week? Well, there's some honorable mentions, and I'm starting to do them shorter for like what I think you guys will be actually interested in, not every single thing that came out that I was slightly interested in. But there was a new horror film called Bagman that looks awful. When a sinister threat from his childhood returns to haunt him, a father desperately struggles against his deepest inner fear. Only this time, the fight isn't for himself. It's for his family. This is in theaters right now. I think it won't be popping. Let's see the reviews real quick. Bagman. Yeah, apparently it's not very good. Next, I did want to watch this if I had some damn time, but it's called She Taught Love. A guy, Frank, on a self-destructive path. A girl, Molly, with an expiration date. What a perfect time to meet and fall in love. This is on Hulu right now. That's a really shitty plot synopsis, but check out the trailer for She Taught Love. I forecast poppin'. And online says it looks like a good romance. Apparently it is pretty good. I think 6.6 is decent for a romance. Next, Grotesquerie. I don't care if this is good. This is the new, I don't care. This is the new Ryan Murphy joint with Niecy Nash, who I really like, and I'm enjoying the fact that she's starring in the show, but also has Travis Kelce, which was a big reason why I don't want to watch this. I don't want to have anything to do with Travis Kelce. The detective and a nun investigate a series of heinous crimes that seem personal while grappling with personal issues and uncovering a sinister web that raises more questions than answers. You can check out this new series on FX and Hulu Wednesdays. Everybody Still Hates Chris, the animated sequel to Everybody Hates Chris that is on Comedy Central, apparently, but you can check out the pilot on YouTube right now. And Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol is on AMC Plus Sundays. The new Limelight show that I watched that came out this week is called Uzumaki, a.k.a. Spiral. A town of people slowly go insane over increasing obsessions with spiral shapes, patterns in the clouds, everyday objects, hair, insects, and skin. Wild show. It's an anime. It's black. It's always black and white. There's never any color, which I kind of dig from an artistical standpoint. I don't really fuck with anime, but I'm assuming this is a mini series. It's definitely based on a manga. And you hear the word spiral a lot, and the first episode really spirals out of control, and you're thinking, okay, are these a bunch of separate stories where the end of the episode, everything goes awry, like apocalyptic-wise? Because the first episode's nuts, but I think the story just continues like normal in the second. I think it's popping. If you like horror anime, this is for you. I kind of do, and I do dig this. So check this out on Max Sundays. The Penguin. The following are shows that I've already reviewed, but I'm just giving you a little update on how they're continuing to go. The Penguin miniseries that's on Max Thursdays is still good. It's just not as enthralling as the first film, The Batman, of course. I mean, don't get me wrong. Colin Farrell is crushing it. I still can't recognize him. Kristen Milotti, who is the other star of the series, playing a character that's not, I don't think, in the comic books. She's excellent. She steals the show. I'm more interested in her than I am with the Penguin. So the show is still popping. It's just not as like, oh my God, like the Batman. It's because the Batman is a detective story. This is more of a gangster story. A really ratty motherfucker who's more ratty than he is penguin-y. But it's dope. I still dig it. Agatha All Along. Their newest episode was popping a lot more than the first episode. I still think I like the second episode the most. Actually, I like this episode. They had to figure out like these little riddles to try to get to the forest of the what have yous. I dug it. New episodes are on Disney Plus Wednesdays. No Aubrey Plaza this week, though. That I did not pop with. I did not pop with that at all. Slow Horses, still a great show, guys. Check it out on Apple TV Plus Wednesdays. I loved the last episode. Only Murders in the Building, I have fallen back on because it's been a wild few weeks. October is a very busy time, even though it's still September. I guess it's just been busy in general. I've been watching shit like crazy, but I've been living a life too, you know? That's not Fight Night. I've given up on Fight Night. I'm not going to watch that show. Hopefully it gets better, though. English Teacher, I watch it in the mornings. I do still dig it. I'm just not as like enthralled about it anymore. The dialogue is really good and the acting is really good, but that's about it for me. And Industry has ended their new season. I started the finale episode today, but I didn't finish it. I didn't know. I kind of figured it was the finale from how things were going. I still dig it, but I don't really recommend it to anyone anymore because you don't know what the fuck they're talking about half the time. I'm mostly in it for the character development and where they're going, and I dig it. Yasmin's a really good character this season, and Harper is interesting. She's basically building her comeback for next season. It's mostly a build-up for that, and it's already got greenlit for next season as well. So I'm digging it. I'll continue watching. I recommend you checking out the first season, and if you can get through the first season, you'll dig the rest of the show for sure. All right, new movies that came out this week. There were quite a few, and I watched more than I thought I was going to. Apartment 7A, the Rosemary's Baby prequel. When a struggling young dancer played by Julia Garner suffers a devastating injury, she finds herself drawn in by dark forces when a peculiar, well-connected older couple promises her a shot at fame. This is on Paramount Plus right now. I forecasted that it wasn't going to be popping, I think. I don't know. I should have put down the forecast, but I didn't. So that's my bad. I thought this was going to be okay. I'm assuming. Like, before I press play, I'm like, I think it's going to be all right. And at first, I was really digging it. I liked the dancer aspect of it because it made it more of an original film in the Rosemary's Babies universe. We do have Diane Wiest playing Minnie and Kevin McNally playing Roman, the neighbors that were in the first film. And Diane Wiest crushes it. If you want to see this film for one reason and one reason only, Diane Wiest is that reason. She fucking crushes this role. I would dig a Golden Globe nomination, to be honest. She's so fucking good in it. It's hard to do with horror films that don't have like one long monologue that is like that they can play for their clips of, and Diane Wiest in Apartment 7A. However, she really crushed it. Julia Garner was great in it too. It's just Diane Wiest really, really, really knocked it out of the park. In general, poppin' or not, I rewatched Rosemary's Baby, and I still like the movie a lot from a direction point of view, even though the main character was driving me nuts because she was doing anything that everyone was telling her to. This movie really does it more to where like people are telling this girl what to do and controlling her life in every which way. But Julia Gardner's character in this is a lot more respectable of herself, and she will stand up for herself, and she won't go as far as humiliating herself to get the dream that she's always desired, and that's to be a dancer in New York City. Yet she will tolerate things as much as she can to a certain degree. Now, again, this movie does stand alone on its own a lot more than it does compared to Rosemary's Baby, except for the end. And those standalone scenes, specifically with music, kind of took me out of the film a little bit. There were scenes that were kind of like music videos. Specifically, the ending scene has this long dancing scene that storyline-wise I got, and like it fit. It looked silly, and it's like, this is Rosemary's Baby. It was strange, and it kind of put me out a little bit. For the most part, the movie is very standard. Compared to the original, of course, it doesn't compare. I think newer audiences that are used to contemporary films aren't going to dig the film as much as older people had dug it when it first came out. However, you may still like it for its themes, specifically themes that are more pro-feminists in this film than they were in the original. But the thing about her in the original was she was like a detective. Roman Polanski was really good at creating detective characters in a non-detective movie. And Julia Gardner, there's not really anything that much detective-y about her, but she does uncover a mystery. I do love the final part of this film, and you kind of have to see it coming throughout. I just didn't like the dancing bit. I was like, this looks silly. So I will say it's poppin' as a general horror film. I don't really recommend it to anyone. I would say watch Rosemary's Baby, and then you'll get the gist of 7A. It could have been worse, I'll say that much, but you can be the judge yourself by checking it out on Paramount Plus right now. In theaters, I checked out Megalopolis, the Francis Ford Coppola $150 million out of his own pocket epic, a fable that takes place in the city of New Rome, and it centers around the main conflict between Caesar, a brilliant artist in favor of a utopian future, and the greedy mayor Franklin. Between them is Julia, her loyalty divided between her father and her beloved. This stars Adam Driver, Nathalie, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Emmanuel, there's two people on screen, Juan Carlo Esposito, a.k.a. Gus Fring from Breaking Bad, Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, and Dustin Hoffman, John Voight. It's got a stacked cast. So this movie went through a lot of hell to be made quite a few times. It almost was made in the late 90s, but was halted due to the 9/11 attacks, because there is a scene that's very similar to an attack on New York. But I think it's really just like pieces from a satellite or like parts of a comic that like kind of destroy parts of the city. That's not much this is not that much of a spoiler. Plus, I don't think you're going to see this, and I don't recommend it. It's not popping. Anyways, I think I forgot to say, Apartment 7A, I'll give him either a small with butter or a medium with like not enough butter, or very dry medium popcorn, or a small buttery popcorn. Anyways, back to Megalopolis. One reason it's not popping is because it seems like the actors didn't know what they were doing. A lot of scenes. There's a lot of montage, like weird dream sequences, specifically with Adam Driver. Like there's this one scene where he does this, and it looks goofy as fuck. And I think Francis Ford Coppola wanted to add in a lot of weird kookiness to it in order for it to look like a futuristic old Hollywood film. It's very similar effects to Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is a positive when you say it out loud like that. But when you're watching the film, a lot of so much weird shit goes on that you kind of don't care what's going on in the movie anymore. Like I said, actors didn't seem like they knew what they were doing. There was a lot of weird thrown in lines to help the story seem more cohesive than it actually was. I saw what Francis Ford Coppola was going for, and I haven't watched a lot of his recent films, but he hasn't made a decent film in a very long time. So his last 4 or 5 that you check on IMDb, they were rated very poorly. That doesn't necessarily mean that the movies themselves were actually poorly made, but it gives you a hint of, oh, old white director is really going old white director and just kind of falling off. This is probably will end up being his best movie that he's done in a bit, but that's just in comparison. I give it a small popcorn. I don't think I'd give it butter. I saw what he was going for. He was going for a futuristic Greek mythology, Shakespearean film that was epic in scale and that looked really cool and looked really nice and overacted like a theater stage production. And in that essence, he succeeded tenfold, which is why I would give it butter, but I won't. I refuse. I didn't like the movie. I was very excited to see it, even though I knew like this probably isn't going to be good. But, oh man, it was so dope to see it in theaters, I will say. I was very excited to watch it. It was basically an empty theater. There was like 4 other people that were seeing it by themselves, including me. And it was a good time. I don't recommend it for you, though. So don't watch Megalopolis, but if you do, check it out in theaters right now. It'll probably be on streaming very soon. Wild Robot. Take your kids to go see a film that takes place after a shipwreck an intelligent robot called Roz is stranded on an uninhabited island. To survive the harsh environment, Roz bonds with the island's animals and cares for an orphaned baby goose. This is directed by Chris Sanders, who did The Croods, Called the Wild, How to Train Your Dragon, and Lilo and Stitch. Poppin' or not, definitely poppin'. Sweated from my eyeballs several times. And just I almost said a feel-good movie, even though I admitted to sweating from my eyeballs. I think it's a good film for kids, although there's a lot of dark shit in this. Like, they talk about it. The robot lands in the wild, so nature is very visceral, and it shows animals getting eaten or killed, like briefly and subtly. But there's this scene where she meets a mother possum with her 8 babies, her kids. They talk and shit, but she goes, yeah, being a mom is really hard. Try raising 8 possums on your own. And then you hear, ah! Try raising 7 possums on your own. And you're like, what the fuck? And they just continue the scene like nothing happened. But then later on you hear, hey, mom, I'm okay. Oh, there you are, number 8. And you're like, what the fuck, man? That was really late. Also, I guess I don't want to give out too much of a spoiler because I do recommend for you to see it. But how the main dilemma of the film is the robot taking care of a duckling. What happens to that duckling's family is dark, really dark, but it works. It all worked. I think that it would be hard for a parent to explain the deaths that happen in this film and why and like just explaining it. Like if a kid's like, hey, what happened to the duckling's family, mom? Well, this is what, like, I think if you take your kids to see this, they might be asking a little bit about death. So judge what range of age you'll take your kid to see this. However, I'm glad I saw it in theaters. Excellent visuals. Super fucking dope, guys. It was super dope. I highly recommend it. I will give it a medium with butter. The only reason I'm not giving it large, it just wasn't one of my favorite films. And it kept introducing more and more stories as the film progressed. Like they show outside the island and you're like, oh, this is what's happening outside the island. And there's a new conflict. And you're like, oh, okay. And that conflict comes to the island and you're like, oh, okay. Like you're kind of ready for it to wrap up several times. And I don't want to spoil it, but basically there's one scene where the robot says goodbye to someone. And you're like, oh, this movie is just about over. But there's like 20, 30 minutes left. And not to say those 20, 30 minutes weren't great. I was just like, okay, whatever. So it's popping. I give it a medium with butter. I think most people might give it a large. It's very, very enjoyable. I do recommend to see it in theaters for realsies. And I recommend taking your kids. But like I said, there'll be some death talk. But it's in theaters right now. All right, our spotlight film of the week is Wolves. Hired to cover up a high-profile crime, a fixer soon finds his nice spiraling out of control when he's forced to work with an unexpected counterpart. George Clooney and Brad Pitt and Amy Ryan and Richard Kind and that kid that was dating the bigger girl from Euphoria. I don't remember her name, but she was my favorite character on Euphoria. She's not coming back. The reason I use the term bigger girl is because her storyline was about that. She was outside of like her hot friends, but she was still like sexier and into more sexy stuff and being popular for those reasons. And the boy that she was with, really great actor. And what they did with that, all right, we're not talking about Euphoria. So that kid is in this. And the reason I bring that up is because he plays a pretty big part in this film. So, poppin' or not? I say poppin'. I understand why others might not say poppin'. So, what's the issue? I watched this with Roxy, and she became uninterested very quick. And I'm reading things online that are saying the same thing. And I get it, and I see what's off-putting about it, but I also understand why it is. It's kind of the same conversation over and over and over and over and over again. And it's like I warned my expectations. When you see the trailer, it's I don't want to work with you. I'm better at this job. And the other person's like, you think you're better at this job? I'm better at this job. Do you know how you're going to do that? I do, but I don't want to show you because I'm the best at my job. Look, I'm more unique than you are. There's no one more unique than me. We are very different, even though they're absolutely the same. And as the film progresses, you realize that's what the movie is about. Not only are they the same, but the situation's the same. Like the whole plot ends up being not three different things, but all the same thing. Same. So it's just like an elongated film of the same thing happening forever. But it is reconciled by them. They're really good off of each other, like working off of each other, playing off of each other. Because it's George Clooney and Brad Pitt. You've seen it a few times. It's just, it gets old in each scene. It gets old the second half of that scene. Some scenes are better than others, and I do truly believe that the film progressed better. I think the film progressed. The film progressed mostly because they started to learn each other and start to like recognize, oh, maybe I'm not just a lone wolf, and maybe hanging out with another wolf makes sense. So other comments I've seen online, people are like, that's not how you spell wolves. It's wolves with a V. Yeah, the point is a lone wolf, but now there's wolves. That's the point, guys. That's the point. It was enjoyable. I think it's popping. I give it a solid medium. There were some scenes that cracked me the fuck up. The chase scene was really goddamn long. There's a slow-mo scene of someone getting hit by a car is just too long. It's way too long. It was weirdly long. There was a lot of scenes that were just too long. I love that it took place in one night. I thought the pacing was done almost extremely well, except for these long, like, I'm better. No, I'm better. You just needed to add a little more than that or move on from that. I get that that's what the movie's about. Like, they're not better. One isn't better than the other. They're the same. Like, I got it, but I got it very quickly. You don't have to keep going. So I think it's popping. I think if you're a fan of George Clooney and Brad Pitt, you should check it out. I'd say if you're not a fan of them, don't watch it. You're not going to like it. Because there's people online who are like, I always hate George Clooney and Brad Pitt, and I didn't like this movie either. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, of course you're not going to like this if you don't like them before. It's definitely not a movie where they're outside of their box. They're not outside of their box whatsoever. And that might be like one of the negatives of the film, but I really enjoyed it. So, poppin', Apple TV Plus, I warned you. Like, it's enjoyable, but I would say it's definitely more of a, like, put the movie on while you're doing your laundry type thing. So, there's no, like, real spooky movies that came out this week. So, what should we talk about? Well, the movie's called Wolves. Might as well talk about werewolf movies. And in my research, I realized I haven't seen many good werewolf movies. At least, I haven't seen any good werewolf movies. There are some on this list, and we'll get to the ones that I recommend for me personally to you, or ones that I genuinely like that you may like as well. But let's start off with wolf films that I found online that other people recommend should you want to watch some werewolf films. For instance, let's start the timer. Okay. For instance, there is Wolfman. Now, I know I got to watch this. I'm going to do, probably not this year, a subject of the old Hammer films like Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein, etc. I've only watched Mummy, Dracula, and Frankenstein. I haven't had a chance to watch the original The Wolfman. But upon his return to his father's estate, aristocrat Larry Talbot meets a beautiful woman, attends a mystical carnival, and uncovers a horrifying curse. Not knowing much about wolf movies makes me want to make a wolf movie. And I know I got to start by watching the OG Wolfman. You can check it out on Prime. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Pretty self-explanatory. But first, you got to watch Frankenstein and the Wolfman. You can watch that on Peacock. Twilight, the whole series. Now, I wouldn't say that these are scary, and I only watched the first one. I didn't watch all of them, but I know people are fans. Even like, I know a lot of dudes that are like, I like the Twilight movies. The first one wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I remember my grandpa rented it back when DVDs were in the mail, you know, like original Netflix days, but we used Blockbuster. And he would always surprise me with a new movie and a movie that I picked. He would pick, okay, I got one. We got to watch it. Everybody's talking about it. And I'm like, what is it? He goes, guess. I'm like, is it Twilight? He's like, we got to try it. And we tried it. And we're like, yeah, it was all right. I won't watch another. And I couldn't. I tried and I just couldn't do it. But you can rent them if you want. Where? Now, I think, I don't know if this is French or it takes place in France anyway. In France, an American female attorney defends a murder suspect who has a brutish appearance and a deadly secret. I bet you can guess what it is. Highly rated online. You can rent it right now. I want to see it. It looks very creepy. I checked out the trailer. Bad Moon. This movie I'm going to watch tonight after we're done with this episode. I dig it. It's pretty low rated on IMDb, but just watch the opening scene alone on AMC Plus. Is it on AMC Plus? I feel like it's on Prime. Stand by. Yeah, this is on Prime. This isn't on AMC Plus. Somebody fucked up. Oh, it is on AMC Plus as well. It's on everything. It's on Peacock, Prime, Tubi, Sling, Roku, Crackle, Redbox, Flex. It's super fucking free, guys. So just watch the opening scene, and I think you'll agree with me that this is worth finishing for sure. After being bitten by a werewolf in the jungle, Ted looks for a cure. His lawyer's sister, with his son and dog, invites him to park his camper by her house in the woods and live out of her fridge. It's a weird explanation of a movie. I never read that before today. But I'm going to be checking this out after. Wolf of Snow Hollow, I have heard for a while now. Terror grips a small mountain town as bodies are discovered after each full moon. Losing sleep, raising a teenage daughter, and caring for his ailing father, Officer Marshall struggles to remind himself there's no such thing as werewolves. This is on Pluto right now. I've been wanting to check this out for a while, but it's always only rentable. But it's finally on Pluto, so I'll be checking this out probably this year sometime. Teen Wolf, never watched it. Never watched the Michael J. Fox comedy about a teen wolf. I never watched the television show. I don't think I'd like it. But you can check out the first Teen Wolf with Mikey J on Pluto. You can check out 2 on Prime. I feel like these are essential wolf movies, both of them. I hear 2 is awful, but I hear 1 is quite good. It just looks stupid. Look at that. It looks stupid. I don't want to see that. But I kind of do. Silver Bullet. Oops, that's the fuck's his name? Jason Bateman is Teen Wolf 2, which you can watch on Prime. Stephen King's Silver Bullet, I may have seen when I was a kid, but he wrote the film in a small town. Brutal killings start to plague the close-knit community. Marty Coleslaw, a paraplegic boy, is convinced the murders are doings of the werewolf. That sounds super Stephen King. This is pretty highly rated for werewolf movies. I've heard about it all my life, so hopefully it's good. You can rent this right now. Howl. This looks good. This has, I don't know if he's a starring role or just a co-starring role, but it has Brett Goldstein, aka Roy Kent from Ted Lasso. But the first the first part of the sentence, I'm like sold. When passengers on a train are attacked by a creature, done. I'll see it. I'll watch it. I'm down. I'm pretty excited to watch it. I'm probably going to watch it sometime this week. They must band together in order to survive until morning. A fucking great idea for a movie. A lot of movies are good if you're stuck on a train. That's cool. And surviving, that's a cool idea. We can check this out on Freevee and Plex. Late Phases. When deadly beasts attack from the forest, it is up to grizzled veteran to uncover the residents of a secluded retirement community are hiding. This is on Prime, Tubi, Plex, and Peacock. That's not... What the fuck? That's not Late Phases. That's Late Phases. This is Wolf. Wolf with Jack Nicholson and directed by Mike Nichols. And I think that's Michelle Pfeiffer. Publisher Will Randall becomes a demon wolf and has to fight to keep his job. Is this a comedy? I feel like keeping your job is the least of your problems, bro. But it's Jack Nicholson, so I'll watch the fuck out of it, but it's not rated very well online. Brotherhood of the Wolf. I'm pretty sure I saw this. Damn, that was 6 minutes already. We gotta hurry up. My bad, guys. Brotherhood of the Wolf. This looks weird. That thing on the left is a wolf. So I don't think I'm gonna like this. But every time I look up wolf movies, all my life, this has always shown up. In 18th century France, no thank you, the Chevalier de Fronsac and his Native American friend Mani are sent to Gavaudan province at the king's behest to investigate the killings of hundreds by a mysterious beast. Okay, never mind, I'm back in. This is on Prime and AMC+. Wolfen. New York cop investigates a series of brutal deaths that resemble animal attacks. Pretty standard. You can rent it right now. Wolf Cop! Fuck yeah, I want to watch. I think I've seen this before. I just don't remember it. That's why it's in this part. And I believe there's 2 of them. I don't even need to read what it's about. It's Wolf Cop. What more do you need? I'm super down. Monster Squad. This, I guess, is kind of like all monsters, but I'm still going to. Steve Cahoon says, let's pop it. Pop, pop. AK, thank you for the magnitude shout out. I appreciate it. Monster Squad is on Pluto. I never saw it, but it's about 5 youngsters who find themselves against the combined might of Dracula, the Mummy, the Gill Man, who the from Black Lagoon, and Frankenstein's monster, who arrive in town in search of a magic amulet. I don't see Wolfman on that, so I don't know if this is a wolf movie, but it's on Pluto, and I do know it's a classic. The Howling. After a bizarre and near deadly encounter with a serial killer, a television newswoman is sent to a remote mountain resort whose residents may not be what they seem. We can rent this right now. And Ginger Snaps. 2 death-obsessed sisters, outcasts in the suburban neighborhood, must deal with the tragic consequences when one of them is bitten by a deadly werewolf. I've heard about this all my life. I've tried watching it several times, and I thought, I'm not going to fucking like this. But it's like a cult classic. Wait a minute. It's like a cult classic. It's on every fucking streaming station if you want. You can watch it on where I had a list. Peacock, AMC Plus, Zumo, Roku. It's on everything. So now my wolf recommendations are as follows. The first 2 don't really count. They're vampire and werewolves. There's Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale, which you can rent right now. The Underworld series, which has Kate Beckinsale again. Very, very hot Kate Beckinsale. Now, I didn't love all these films. The first 2 are really the ones worth watching, specifically the first one. The third one's a prequel, and then the story continues after that. But it's war between lichens and vampires. Lichens and werewolves. You can rent these as well. The remake Wolfman with Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins, I dug it. It's by Joe Johnston. Upon his return from his ancestral homeland, an American man is bitten and subsequently cursed by a werewolf. Do I need to read all of these? I don't think I need to read all of these. You can watch this on Prime. I dug it. I thought it was dope. It's Benicio del Toro, so I think it was dope. I've talked about this quite a few times. American Werewolf in London is on Freevee. I did like rewatching this, but I don't recommend it as much as I did before because the first half of he doesn't become a werewolf until like the last half hour of the film. So that's super annoying. But the werewolves, he's only a werewolf for 2 nights total. That was very annoying, but it is that those times it's kind of scary. The transformation scene is crazy as balls. When they go hiking, it is fucking crazy. So the actual werewolf scenes are really, really good, but everything surrounding it, not as great. But I still recommend checking it out on Freevee. Just be aware, only like a half hour of it's really good. Trick or Treat, again, this is kind of a caveat or an asterisk, if you will, because it's 5 stories and one of them happens to be a wolf story. But that wolf story is good. I like that story. You can check out Trick or Treat on Max. It's one of the best Halloween movies you can watch for sure. Werewolves Within is a comedy that I dug, which is based on a video game, which I didn't know, about werewolves attacking a small town. I finally watched this year. It's more about the town turning on each other than it is about a werewolf killing people. But a werewolf starts killing people, and then the town turns on each other, and then we reveal who the werewolf is. It's fun. Check it out on AMC Plus. Dog Soldiers. Okay, so this is more of an action werewolf movie, but it's dope. It's directed by Neil Marshall, who did The Descent, one of my favorite horror films. And it's wild, my boy. It is wild. Very violent, very cool, very secluded, very fun. I dug it, and I recommend it to you. A routine military exercise turns into a nightmare in the Scottish wilderness. You can check this out on Prime, Peacock, Pluto, Sling, Roku, and AMC Plus. And last but finally, Cursed. I like this movie. I'm pissed at how low ratings this is online. If you like Scream and you like Wes Craven and you like Christina Ricci and you tolerate Jesse Eisenberg, this is a really fun fucking movie. It's written by Kevin Williamson, who did the Screams, and they're like, hey, let's do a fucking werewolf movie. And Wes Craven's like, fuck yeah. And I like it. I thought it was dope. A werewolf loose in Los Angeles changes the lives of 3 young adults who, after being mauled by the beast, learn they must kill it in order to avoid becoming werewolves themselves. You can check this out on Pluto and Paramount Plus. Good shit, me. All right, let's get on to some news. I've got to do the news. First, whoops. R.I.P. Chris Christopherson. You may remember him as Whistler in Blades 1 and 2 and 3. I don't remember if he was in 3 or not. But you can check out the Blades by renting them. He also starred in the 1976 version of A Star is Born, which you can rent. And he's also in one of my favorite movies called Payback with Mel Gibson. Check that out on Prime Video. He plays one of the villains. Excellent actor. I didn't listen to his music, but apparently he's a good country singer as well. Really, really great actor. Sad that he passed away. But watch Payback so we can remember him. Or Blade. Speaking of a B-worded comic book character, there's going to be a Bane and DeatStroke standalone film, and not respective films. I read that there is one film that's going to be centered around Bane and DeatStroke, which now I was like, yeah, let's do it, James Gunn. You got this. DC Studios represent. Optimistic me. A little less optimistic. Stop making these standalone villain films. Venom's fun, but it's like, what are we doing, guys? Morbius? No. Joker? Yeah, but it's Joker. Everybody fucking loves Joker. I don't know. I mean, let's see what's going to happen. It was just announced, so maybe they got a better plan. But it seems like David Zaslav or whatever, the guy that runs Warner Discovery, is like, look, we got to do more of this because of money, money, money. This seems like just a money grab. This doesn't seem like an artistic endeavor. And I'm not sure if this is going to be part of the DC Studios universe. Like, the Batman is made by James Gunn's production company, but it's not in his universe. You know what I'm saying? That's not his Batman. He's just helping it be made. But so maybe it's outside of it, but even so, I don't know. It's weird. I don't like it. Speaking of DC Studios, the Lanterns television show, we got Kyle Chandler playing Hal Jordan, and we have 2 people in the running for, I don't know, John Stewart. John Stewart. I keep forgetting that's Black Lantern's name. John Stewart. Aaron Pierre from Underground Railroad, or you may remember him from that recent film, Rebel Ridge. Great actor. And another great actor, Stephen James. I'm not sure. It's with an A. But I remember him from Homecoming, the television series. Another great actor. So they are the 2 finalists for Lanterns. I'm sure they're going to be announcing the cast soon. In other news, another death happened. That's Kyle Chandler. R.I.P. Chucky. That's right. If you were a fan of Watch Party, you knew that was our first show. We watched the whole season, the whole second half of the new season, and the final episodes in its entirety. And it was a fun show, man. And it got canceled. And Don Mancini, who is the showrunner, the creator of Chucky, is very optimistic that that Chucky will come back. But, like, what the fuck are you guys going to do with it? Spoiler alert, he kills the president. And he bombs Alaska, I think. Or the North Pole. He bombed the North Pole. Like, where else is he going to go? Novocaine said, is he going to kill God? What? I said he's going to go to space. And Roxy's like, maybe. Jason went to space. That's true. So I don't, it's like a 30 or 40-year-old character. Like, you got to move on someday. But the show's so wacky. Like, it's a character that will never die, but has died so many times. So I don't know what they're doing, but they're continuing. And finally, there is a new RoboCop series that's in progress by Amazon MGM Studios with James Wan executive producing. The series will follow the premise of the films, focusing on a giant tech conglomerate which collaborates with the local police department to introduce a technologically advanced RoboCop. This is not the first television series that's been made. There was a 1994 version in which you can watch right now on Prime, Peacock, Tubi, or Pluto. But you can watch the original film on Max. I don't know, man. Weird idea. But then again, they've tried it before, so maybe they're trying it again. All right, here's what's coming out this week. Let me reset this timer. We're making really good time, guys. We might finish well before. Damn it. What the fuck? Sorry, hold on. Stand by! Don't leave! If you haven't yet, pop some corn, like, and subscribe. Okay, so here's what's coming out this week, and here are the forecasts of what I think it's going to be. We have Joker, Folie à Deux, otherwise known as Joker, Madness for Two. If you don't know what folie à deux means, it means delusion or mental illness shared by two people in close association. Great fucking title. And it looks like a French film, a French romance film from like the 60s or 70s. I'm geeked for this movie, but apparently there have been reviews out where they're like, yeah, it's good. It's just not as good as the first. I think I'm going to like it more than the first because this looks like a different type of film that is more for me, like an artsy film. The first one was more of a character film. This looks like more of a romance film, and I'm down. I think it's ridiculous how many Jokers and Harley Quinns we have, but when I saw the trailer for this film, I'm like, whatever, I'm down. So I think it'll be popping. Do you? Comment below. Another movie that's coming out in theaters is A Different Man with Sebastian Stan. That rhymes, so you know it's true. This storyline has been done before, but this is interesting because it's a semi-autobiographical film where the guy on the right with the different face, that's a real person. And this is apparently based on his life a little bit, apparently. But there's a sci-fi aspect to it. After undergoing facial reconstructive surgery, Edward becomes fixated on an actor in a stage production based on his former life. I think this will be popping. I don't have time to go see it in the theaters. If I had nothing to do and I had no movies and TV shows on my plate, I would go see this, but you're going to see soon. There's a lot of shit coming out this week that I'd rather see. I'm not going to see this either. It's called Things Will Be Different. Check out the trailer. It looks pretty good. In order to escape police after a robbery, two estranged siblings lay low in a farmhouse that hides them away in a different time. Oh yeah, this looks really cool. Check out the trailer. There they reckon with a mysterious force that pushes their familial bonds to unnatural breaking points. This is like a sci-fi thievery film. And the final film in theaters this week is called Monster Summer. This is written and directed by David Henry. I didn't watch the show, but I know you guys did. This is written and directed by Justin from Wizards of Waverly Place. I was like, that's fucking weird. But I checked out the trailer. This looks kind of good. When a mysterious force begins to disrupt their big summer fun, Noah and his friends team up with a retired police detective to embark on a monstrous adventure to save their island. It looks fun. It looks like a dope family film. I'm not going to watch it, but maybe you will. It's in select theaters Thursday. All right, in streaming, we got a lot. We got a film called Hold Your Breath, which stars Sarah Paulson in 1930s Oklahoma amid the region's horrific dust storms. A woman is convinced that a sinister presence is threatening her family. I think this will be boring, but I will watch it eventually because I really love Sarah Paulson. But this is on Hulu Thursdays. House of Spoils. I don't think this will be popping, but I think it'll be entertaining. An ambitious chef opens a restaurant at a remote estate, but a haunting presence soon threatens to sabotage her at every turn. This looks like a horror comedy, a psychological horror comedy that stars, she won an Academy Award, I think. We deserve to learn her name. Ariana DeBose. DeBose! I'm probably mispronouncing that. So yeah, I think this will be entertaining, but I'm not sure it'll be popping. This is on Hulu Thursday. Salem's Lot. I'm reading that it's okay, and I'm okay with that. I just recently rewatched the old Salem's Lot, which I dug a lot, actually. The very slow burn, but it's a mini series, so the movie's 3 hours long. But I recommend checking it out if you haven't yet. But this is based off of the book. When author Ben Mears comes back to his childhood home in search for some inspiration for his next book, he discovers that people in his hometown are mysteriously turning into blood-sucking vampires. This is on Max Thursday. I'm excited. I think this will be... I watched the trailer before rewatching because I rewatched the old film and miniseries. I did not remember it. But I was like, I like this a lot more than I remember. I hope it's going to be popping. I just don't think it will be. Because this was going to be released in theaters than Max, so they changed their mind and it's going straight to Max. But then again, they did that with Prey, the Predator prequel, so who knows? But I'm excited to watch it nonetheless. I'm so excited. We were going to watch this at the watch party, but I don't know if this is going to be good, but I think it will be very good. And Creepshow isn't necessarily a good show. But VHS Beyond, baby, I'm ecstatic. I love anthology horror. I think the VHS series are fucking fun as fuck. And they just came out with VHS like 94 last year. So hopefully this is a yearly thing where they get six different filmmakers to make 6 different stories combined to make one film. And this theme is sci-fi inspired. One of the directors is Justin Long and his brother. Another director is Kate Siegel, who is in Mike Flanagan's works. And Mike Flanagan co-wrote that story. So I'm super geeked about this. This is on AMC Plus Shudder Friday. I told you guys before, I'll tell you again, get AMC Plus right now. It's a perfect streaming site to have for October. It's got a bunch of spooky shit on there. So I think this will be popping. Some stories will be better than others, just like every VHS film, but I'm ecstatic. I hope you are too. I'm kind of excited for this. No, I'm excited for this. The Platform was a really great film. If you haven't watched it yet, watch it now. It's on Netflix, but the second one's coming out. The first one is made so well, script-wise, allegorical-wise, acting-wise. It's a disgusting film, but cinematography, everything about that film was so well made. I rewatched it recently. It's so well made. So when I found out they're making a second, I'm like, why the fuck are you doing that? But I'm not watching the trailer, and I'm not reading this plot synopsis because I don't want to know what it's about, except it's back in the prison or whatever. Doing pretty, yeah, we're almost done, I promise. But it looks really good. If you haven't watched the original, watch the original. It's a great allegory on society and how we treat others and the wealth class and all of that. Why I'm optimistic about this is because the Platform 1 was the director's first film. His second film is this. That means he is very fucking focused because he can make other great films. But the fact that he decided this to be his next project gives me hope. So I'm excited. Another film I'm actually genuinely excited about is It's What's Inside. I think it's going to be a spin on Freaky Friday, but it's like a horror comedy kind of thing. But a pre-wedding reunion descends into a psychological nightmare for a group of college friends when a surprise guest arrives with a mysterious suitcase. This is on Netflix Friday. I'm very excited about this. And finally, the show Legend of Vox Machina returns to Prime on Thursdays. I watched the first episode, and it's a show that I think I could get into, but I decided against it. But I know some people that do enjoy the show, so I'm just letting you know. So here's what whoops. Oh no, I didn't do it. I forgot. So what I'm watching next week and what I'll be reviewing is Joker 2, which is in theaters Thursday. Sorry, I got a little fucked up here. House of Spoils, which is going to be on Hulu Thursday. Salem's Lot, which is going to be on Max Thursday. VHS Beyond, which is going to be on Shudder Friday. How the fuck am I going to watch all of this? Platform 2, which is going to be on Netflix Friday. And last but certainly not least, it's What's Inside, which will be on Netflix Friday. So before I let you guys go, tomorrow's October 1st, guys. You know what that means. I owe you another list of a horror movie to watch every day. If you don't want to watch any of these new movies that are coming out, or you want to watch just horror and you want to watch something every day. Last year, I focused more on like mixing more of the classic horror films with sprinkling in some newer horror films. I'm going to flip that this year. I'm not going to choose only new horror films or only films that I haven't seen, but more I like every Halloween. I'm more about discovering every spooky time. I'm more into the idea of watching a horror movie I never saw before. In general, I like watching movies I haven't seen before. Rarely do I want to rewatch a movie these days, but I think it is important to sprinkle in some new ones. So as the weeks progress, I'm going to choose films that are leading up to probably sequels that are coming out in October, but also just films that have been in my list that I haven't had a chance to see. So tomorrow, you are to watch if you're joining the Halloween Poptober Club, you are to watch Bad Moon, which you can check out on Tubi, Peacock, or Prime. On Wednesday, I recommend checking out the original Salem's Lot, the 1979 version, which you can rent. Technically, it's on Shudder right now. Robin Floyd asks, are you able to share this list as a post on social media? Thank you, Robin. I will, actually. What I was actually just about to say, this list is a little difficult because it's September right now, and all streaming sites change what is available. So, like, for instance, the old Salem's Lot is on AMC Plus right now, but it won't be tomorrow. I just found that out. So I'm going to post this on social media tomorrow. That way you guys know that way I know you can watch Bad Moon on Tubi, that you can watch this on that, blah, 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 blah. So yes, I promise I will. So for now, these movies are on these streaming sites, but no matter what, this is what I recommend to watch this week. So tomorrow, watch Bad Moon. I'm going to watch it tonight. Wednesday, watch the original Salem's Lot, which as of now, you'll have to rent. On the 3rd, which is Thursday, the new Salem's Lot will be dropping on Max. That's confirmed. VHS Beyond will be dropping on AMC Plus on Friday. So excited. You have no idea how excited I am. On Saturday, check out the new House of Spoils, which is on Hulu. On Sunday, watch Tragedy Girls. I never watched it. I thought it looked fun. I don't think I got what it's about on here. I don't want to know what it's about, actually. It's why I'm not going to tell you what it's about. But that you can watch on Prime, Peacock, Tubi, and Pluto as of now. And finally, Urban Legend, which is one of my favorite slasher films. Favorite late 90s, early 2000s slasher films that you can check out on Max. So that I recommend watching next Monday. And as the weeks progress, again, I'll be adding on movies. And usually the closer we get to Halloween, the more I'll be adding on like the classic Halloween movies like Halloween or Friday the 13th. But for now, I want to start off by doing the ones that I haven't really seen or the ones I haven't been familiar with. Again, don't forget, this Saturday, watch party, I will be hosting the Spooky Creep Show where there's a costume contest. So bring a costume, you'll win a prize. We'll be watching 2 episodes. We'll be playing games. There will be free snacks. There will be free candy. That's most of the prizes, but there is a special prize as well. There'll be guest panelists, and they'll be fun. It's all for free. Hit me up for details. But I will see you next. If I don't see you at the watch party, which I fucking better, I'll see you next Monday for more spooky. Thank you. Share, like, subscribe.